Welcome to Rise Untold, where the stories behind the spotlight come alive. Tonight, a storm of words is unfolding between the pulpit and the stage. Joel Osteen, the smiling megachurch pastor from Houston, has once again found himself at the center of controversy. But this time, the challenge doesn't come from activists or theologians. It comes from country music star John Rich. John Rich, the outspoken musician and former Lone Star bassist, is known for speaking his mind without hesitation. And when it comes to matters of faith, he believes in calling things as he sees them. Recently, during an interview on the Shawn Ryan Show, Rich openly criticized Osteen for avoiding one of the most powerful and unsettling chapters of the Bible, Matthew 24. That chapter, often referred to as the Olivet Discourse, contains Jesus' warnings about the end times. It speaks of wars and rumors of wars, famines and earthquakes, false prophets and deception. For many Christians, Matthew 24 is not just prophecy. It is a call to vigilance, a reminder that faith may be tested in the darkest of days. But according to John Rich, Joel Osteen doesn't go there. He doesn't preach about it. He avoids it. And to Rich, that silence isn't just a choice, it's spiritual failure. To say that God will not put his people through anything like that is spiritual ignorance, Rich said in the interview, his words cutting directly into Osteen's reputation as America's preacher of positivity. Rich believes that Osteen skips over the hard truths of Scripture because they don't fit the message of prosperity, blessing, and personal empowerment that has made him a household name. With millions of followers, best-selling books, and a global television ministry, Osteen's platform is one of the largest in the world. But in Rich's eyes, that influence only makes his avoidance more dangerous. Joel Osteen will never preach anything that makes people uncomfortable, Rich declared. To him, it's not about scaring people, it's about telling them the truth. And when pastors avoid the harder chapters of the Bible, Rich argues, they leave their congregations unprepared for what faith might really demand. His criticism goes beyond American megachurch culture. Rich pointed to persecuted Christians across the globe, believers who are risking their lives daily just to practice their faith. To him, Osteen's upbeat sermons of encouragement do little to honor those sacrifices. Glossing over passages like Matthew 24, Rich warned, paints a distorted picture of Christianity, one that feels safe and easy but ignores suffering, endurance, and the cost of discipleship. The comments sparked a wave of reaction. Some applauded Rich for his courage, praising him for saying out loud what many have felt about Osteen's ministry for years. Others defended Osteen, arguing that his mission has always been about lifting people up, not tearing them down. They see his focus on hope as a beacon for those drowning in despair. Still, Rich's words echo a long-standing critique of Osteen that his message is light on Scripture, heavy on inspiration, and carefully designed to never make anyone feel uneasy. For his critics, this is a betrayal of the gospel's raw honesty. For his supporters, it's the very reason they listen. This isn't the first time Osteen has been pushed into the spotlight of controversy. Back in 2022, he faced protests from abortion rights activists, an incident that thrust his church into national headlines. But this clash with John Rich feels different. It's not about politics or social issues. It's about theology. It's about whether a pastor with one of the biggest platforms in the world has a duty to confront the difficult truths of Scripture, even if it risks making his audience uncomfortable. And the tension here is bigger than just two men. It speaks to a divide running through much of modern Christianity. Do people want pastors who deliver the unfiltered word, no matter how unsettling, or do they want preachers who focus on encouragement, positivity, and emotional healing? John Rich has made his stance clear. He believes ignoring Jesus' warnings about the end times is not just a theological mistake. It's dangerous. It leaves believers unprepared. It sends a message that faith is only about comfort, not endurance. And Joel Osteen? He hasn't responded directly to Rich's comments, but his sermons continue in the same vein they always have. Smiles, hope, prosperity, encouragement. For some, that's exactly what the world needs. For others, it's proof that Rich is right. The clash between Osteen and Rich is more than a disagreement. It's a collision of two world views. One that insists faith must confront the hard truths of life and Scripture, and another that insists hope itself is enough to carry people through. So, tonight, the question lingers in the air. When it comes to matters of faith, what do people really want? Do they want prophecy or positivity? Do they want the unshakable warnings of Matthew 24, or the encouragement of a sermon that makes them smile? For Joel Osteen, that choice has defined his ministry for decades. His silence on Matthew 24 is not accidental. It is deliberate. He has built a worldwide following on messages of hope, possibility, and prosperity. He has chosen a style that avoids confrontation and avoids fear. To many, that is his strength. They believe his words help heal broken spirits, lift people out of despair, and give them courage to face tomorrow. For those people, Osteen is not failing. He is fulfilling a need for encouragement in a world already filled with suffering. But for John Rich, that same silence looks very different. To him, it isn't comfort, it's compromise. It isn't hope, it's avoidance. Rich argues that the warnings of Scripture exist for a reason. They are meant to prepare people, to sharpen their faith, to make them ready for trials that could test them in ways they cannot imagine. To him, avoiding those warnings is not kindness, it is neglect. And so the tension grows. On one side, a pastor who has made millions by giving people positivity, teaching them to believe for blessings and better days. On the other side, a country singer who insists that faith must also include the fire, the famine, and the fight. This clash reveals something deeper about human nature. People don't just come to faith seeking truth. They come seeking comfort. They come wanting peace, reassurance, and the feeling that they will be protected no matter what comes. Osteen has mastered the art of offering that peace. But the Bible is not only about peace, it is also about warning. It is also about trial. It is also about the cost of standing firm when the world falls apart. That is why John Rich speaks so forcefully. In his eyes, Osteen's message may soothe, but it does not prepare. It may encourage, but it does not warn. And in a world filled with wars, disasters, persecution, and uncertainty, Rich believes ignoring Jesus' words about the end times is not just a theological choice, it is a dangerous gamble, and so the divide sharpens. For Joel Osteen, his silence on Matthew 24 may continue. For John Rich, the call to speak the hard truth will not fade. And for millions watching around the world, the choice between comfort and conviction grows sharper with every passing day. This is Rise Untold.